How's it going, Knick fans? How we doing? What's good, Zach? How we doing?
Good. We're doing good.
Yes,
We're
sir.
3-3.
Three,
What a
three,
game.
three. Not bad, actually. Not bad.
What an amazing game.
Yes.
Fun game to watch. And we came out with the dub. Which is weird to say that we can say it after 6 games. We've done it half the time. That's
Finally,
crazy.
it's about time. Well, not about time. We're 3-3. We're doing well, but obviously we've had some up and down fourth quarters throughout the season, and this is a very encouraging one. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
9-0 run, and I copy and pasted it, but I'm not sure if it's not copy and paste anymore. It doesn't matter. I think it was like a 9-0 run in like a 3-something minute span. It was something crazy. It was like 2 minutes 49 seconds 9-0 run. We don't do that ever. So really good stuff. But you know what? It's more important to get into the individual stuff. But
Sweet.
very relieving win tonight, Zach. That was a fun game to watch.
That was a
Down to
really
the
fun
wire.
game.
Yeah.
I always bring up the flaws, but I feel like with the Oladipo is just, I think he wanted to lose. I don't know what that was weird. That was very strange. He was just chucking up every shot he got, and he missed pretty much every shot. I think 3 for 16. Pretty bad.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, that was really bad. But hey, Knicks played great. Can't take it away. They played amazing.
That's true.
So
got to customize our bio, for the Instagram. Check it out, Knicks4Clicks official up there now. It's easier to see. But okay, we won tonight. Beautiful. Let's get into the stats. Do you want to talk about Julius Randle first?
sure. So he started cold at the first. Did he have a point in the first half? I don't think he did.
It was
But
if it was any points, it was limited, but he had a poor first half.
yeah, if anything, I think he had like 2 points in the first half. But he needed to back up when it counted, and he had a good game.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty happy. He like the inconsistent first half, but he did his job, and he helped facilitate at the end and a couple turnovers. But you always get that with Randall. But I'm pretty satisfied with his game.
Yeah.
He's been pretty consistent, especially with the triple doubles. Obviously, he didn't get one tonight, but he was very close. At least a double double.
Oh, definitely.
So,
He's been a serious triple-double threat all season.
yeah.
That's something you got to look out for, NBA. I don't know what's going on with Julius Randle, but he's been in his bag so far.
He always had the rebounds, but now he's starting to facilitate a little more.
Yes.
He's becoming a threat.
He is, and it's something really fun to watch. He had some turnovers tonight, but the good plays so far outweighed the turnovers that he had. 4 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. Not something to go right home about. It wasn't phenomenal, but at the same time, he had that one steal at the end, really closed out the game for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that got me really hyped up. I was excited for that. It's fun to watch. He looks a lot more conditioned than last season. I know that was something Clyde mentioned in the post-game interview, and he kind of played it off like he hadn't lost any weight. It was a slick little move he did. But it was a lot of fun to watch Julius Randle tonight, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Totally agree. Going again to Reggie Bullock?
Sure. Reggie Bullock, he's been playing a lot of minutes for this team so far, and I will say he had a way better game than last game. He shot less shots, 2 for 5. Last game, what was he, 0 for 9 or something?
Yeah, it couldn't get much better. Couldn't be worse than last game. So he had a better game.
Sure, and he knocked down some early shots, gave him some good momentum. But, 6 points, 7 rebounds, that was pretty impressive, I'll say. From Reggie Bullock, don't expect much, especially if Tibbs is playing him so many minutes. And I know at one point he kind of took over the ball handling. He kind of waved off Peyton. And I'm not sure if you saw that, but it was he waved off Peyton. And it didn't work out very well for him. You're definitely not a ball handler, Reggie. Be a better catch-and-shoot guy.
Just be a shooter.
Yep, but a better game from him. A lot of improvement. What is that, 0 for 1 from the free throw line? He did miss that technical free throw, remember?
Yeah, he did.
That hurt a little bit. That hurt my soul a little bit. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Mitchell Robinson. You talk about him first because I got only praises, but you talk about him.
Hey, I think this is the best game of the season from him by far.
Yeah.
Finally, he got the opportunities on offense and didn't blow it. He did his job. You see he does the same thing on offense like he does every game. He just did more of it tonight. He got more opportunities and he took advantage of them and scored. So he had a great game, and he played great defensively. Got those blocks. I think at the end he got that block to pretty much seal the deal. Who was it? Was it Brogdon? I think
it might have been
a shooter, one of the shooters.
Brogdon, I think.
But that was a big, and he got the rebound off of that block. That was an amazing play. Yeah, he had the best game of the season for him by far.
Big time. I honestly could not agree more with you on that front, Zach. 16-9 is nuts for Mitch. I mean, that's exactly what you asked for. He had 2 blocks, and there were ones that mattered. He blocked Sabonis going to the rim. It was a very, very athletic type of play where he stretched out his arm all the way. And then he had that nice block at the very end of the three-pointer that honestly sealed the entire game. So he made plays when it mattered. 8 for 10, crazy efficiency. 80% from the field is something in 29 minutes. That's something that I couldn't do, something that a lot of NBA players can't do. But 16 points from a guy who's non-ball. Like, he doesn't need the ball in his hands. He only tips in the ball on misses. He dunks the ball. But 16 points off of missed shots and lobs, that's perfect. That's points we would not have had if someone like Nerlens Noel's in the game. And no hate to Nerlens Noel, but it's true. He doesn't go for those plays like Mitch. Mitch's IQ has definitely gotten better. Can we agree on that front, too?
Yeah.
I mean, 3 fouls in 29 minutes is not bad, especially for the rate of blocks he was getting. 3 fouls for 2 blocks, I'll take it. You know? Because usually when he has 5 fouls, he doesn't have any blocks because for the most part he's sitting down. He's usually got 5 fouls in like 15 minutes, and he's just getting way better at that. And that's something that I really praise him for.
Yep.
And also, I got to say one more thing about him. 6 offensive rebounds versus 3 defensive rebounds. He got more offensive boards than he did offensive boards than he did defensive boards. That's something also that's very interesting. The tip-ins, just a big deal, you know? And as a team also, he really did help lead our field goal percentage. Because if we're talking about misses, right, he's just putting them right back in. Like, if he wasn't there... Right, if he wasn't there on some of the misses that RJ had and Reggie had and Peyton had, like, we're going to shoot 30% as a team tonight. That's just how it goes. So, big plays from Mitch. One of the contributing factors, if not the biggest contributing factor to this win tonight. Definitely take this play every night from him if I could get it.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, just, like I said, season high.
Yeah.
For sure. But Alfred Payne had a great game as well, which you don't expect the shooting. He's not a shooter, but he's very good. He's been a great driver these last couple of games, and he's making all of them. And he converted some and-ones. He's just had a great game. You don't want him, you're not expecting him to be a scoring point guard, but he just is right now. He's scoring. He's driving to the rack and he's scoring.
But one thing that I will say about Elfrid Payton, and I agree that he had a good game tonight, but there's some games where he just needs to limit the amount of turnovers he gets. Because a lot of them are unnecessary passes that he makes. And one of them, I will say, was not necessarily... It was his fault because you have to pass out of the situation or just commit to the shot. But he couldn't make a decision. He said, am I going to shoot the ball or am I going to pass it? He double-clutched and he got blocked. You know, it's like stuff like that that's going to get you turnovers. It's going to help the Pacers capitalize on easy fast break buckets. And it's stuff that he does every single game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we watch all the games. We see it. It's a credible source that you're listening to right now. And then he just needs to stop doing that. And, you know, if it keeps up like that, we're going to have a serious discussion about starting Rivers or Quickley at point guard because both of those guys, in my opinion, when we'll talk about later, have more upside than Peyton does. Shooting, passing, defense. I'd take all 3 over Peyton.
Yeah. The only reason why I don't, I get those little things if he's going to turn the ball over. The only thing is, if you're a point guard, you're going to turn the ball over the more you have it. So the only reason why I'm slacking off on the turnovers is just on a point guard standpoint. But yeah, I totally agree. You just got, if they're just bonehead mistakes like that, you got to clean it up.
Right.
But you got to talk about your guy, RJ.
Of course, I got his jersey on tonight. New York, number 9, RJ Barrett. Still wish he wore number 5. That'd be a big, his Duke number. But RJ Barrett, 42 minutes tonight. Tom Thibodeau has been playing him hard. I will say he had a great game tonight, but before I say how well he did or what he did, he shot I think it was like an hour and a half I heard on Instagram or Twitter from Ian Bagley that he stayed after the Raptors game and he just chucked up 3-pointers. and it paid off tonight. 4 for 5 from 3. That's beautiful. 80% shooting. We're not going to see it every night, but as long as we can get it, in clutch games like this from RJ Barrett, that's perfect. Dude had 25 points. What was that? 5 rebounds, 3 assists. And it's not even the stats that stand out to me, really. It's the way he played in the fourth quarter, right? Like, the dude got fouled twice, and the game wasn't decided yet by any means. He got fouled twice, put him on the free throw line, made all 4 of his free throws. And I get it. It's just 4 free throws, and it wasn't necessarily a super high-stakes game because we were up by a good amount at the very end there. 4, 5, 6 points. But if he had missed those free throws, we would have been having a different discussion right now, I think. I think it would have either went to overtime, or I think maybe there's potential we could have lost. Because the Pacers are a good team, right? If RJ misses 2 of those free throws, they're in the game. So, good for RJ. Great game tonight. 42 minutes, 8 for 15. If you want to add anything about him that I missed, because he did have his flaws here and there. He missed some mid-ranges he should have hit. That's not a question. Yeah. But that'll happen. Second-year player. I feel like I went a little too hard on him last time. And I said that to Zach, and we have our little disagreements about that here and there. But
in these podcasts, you're a little too hard? Is that what you're saying?
I think I was last game in particular. I said we have to have a conversation, and it was justified by his 0 for 21 3-point shooting in the last 3 games. But I'd say this is so far his best game of the year.
I wouldn't say conversation. I think what I was saying last time was it's his luck, it felt like. Because you just saw the mechanics were all there. That's why I wouldn't say we need to have a talk with him. I just put up more shots, and they're going to fall eventually. So I just keep doing what you're doing, and that's what he's just still doing what he's doing, and it's going. You saw it tonight, so I thought it was just a mechanical thing. It wasn't a mechanical thing, I meant. It was just an unlucky thing.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. I agree. You might be a little too hard on him, but he had a good game tonight. Hopefully he keeps it up. Hopefully it's not an inconsistency thing, but it really did look like an unlucky thing at that point.
Yeah, there were some shots definitely in the Raptors game that could have went down that just didn't.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a stereotypical Knicks fan in some ways more than others, okay? Where I'm kind of hard on these young guys, but it's only because I want them to succeed. I have no hate for most of these guys, except Kevin Knox. He's the guy who I haven't been super high on from the get-go, and I don't really like how he's been playing recently. Although he's had his consistencies and inconsistencies, he just doesn't fit the shape of the team. He doesn't play good defense. He doesn't play hard. That's just my opinion, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't see the drive from him that I see in someone like Quickley or RJ Barrett. And that's the only thing so far, and I know I'm kind of rambling, but I know I kind of worry about Obi in that way. Because, sure, he has intensity in some ways, but I just don't see him fitting in the offense, just like Knox doesn't fit in the offense. It makes me a little bit nervous as a fan, but we have to see when he comes back from his injury, how he'll play. I don't like what I saw in the preseason, even though he had one good game, maybe. When he had his debut, he went 3 for 12, so... I'm going off topic. My bad. Okay? Anyway, RJ Barrett... Yeah, no. But RJ Barrett had a good game tonight, so I'll take that. In my opinion, like I said, best game of the season, just because he shot semi-efficiently. He shot 8 for 15. That's really good, in my opinion. But he had that 28-point game versus the Pacers the first game. I say that this one's better because we won.
I think this one's better, too.
Because we won. If we had lost this game, it would have been his second best game of the year because we still lost. But... we won. So, do you want to get into Kevin Knox, who I just talked about?
Yeah. So, we obviously saw he didn't hit a shot that he took. And I think he airballed again. So, it might have to do with the hand bruise or whatever he has. But, yeah. If you're not healthy, don't play. I think that's just the bottom line at this point, because you're hurting the team.
That's true.
So, if he's healthy and you're just botching these at this point, then fine, play. But that's all I got on Kevin Knox. He just had a terrible game again. So, he didn't have a great game versus the Raptors at all. Or he did at the first half, then he got hurt, and then he just didn't hit a shot after. But, yeah that's all I got to say on Kevin Knox.
I agree. I really don't have much more to say about Kevin Knox than what I already kind of slandered him with. But I will say his defense tonight was not it. If you're going to have a not great offensive game, I don't expect you to be fouling Doug McDermott on a three-pointer and giving him an and-one opportunity. That's just...
And that, yeah.
That hurts. You can't do that.
Blatant.
Yeah.
That foul was blatant.
Yeah.
He slapped his hand at the
end.
For no reason.
For no reason at all, right? Could have easily put his hands behind his back in time. Boom. Like that, you're good. But it just didn't go down that way. You know, he had a tough, situation where he decided, okay, I'm going to contest this. And I swear, I learned in 4th grade, okay? And I haven't applied it all the time. I get it. But I learned in 4th grade that when you need to close out on somebody, you close out, like, you know how Colin Sexton closes out when he, like, kind of shuffles toward the guy?
Okay, I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, well, it was like a clip that was going around, but it's fine. Anyway, he, like, shuffles towards the guy and keeps his hand up. You don't jump at somebody. Because best case scenario in that play, Kevin, he misses the three-pointer, you still foul him. Second best case scenario, he doesn't shoot the three-pointer, he pump fakes it, and you still foul him. In the third case scenario, worst case scenario, you foul him and he hits the three. There's nothing that comes out of that is positive. Nothing. Because you're going to foul him every time. This is an NBA caliber player that will draw the foul. He let him do it. And I feel like that kind of sums up Kevin Knox's night. He didn't do much else. I guess he had one good pass, I think, and he did have that one block, which we kind of jumped up for that one. You remember that one? But that's it. That was the only good defense I saw tonight. But he just needs to stay on the floor. That's that when I mean stay on the floor, I don't mean get more minutes. I mean stay on the ground. Because jumping for pump fakes like that, I give Mitch just as hard of a time when he gets faked and stuff. But he'll have his up and down games, Kevin Knox. I just don't think in year 3 that you can be shooting 0 for 4 and then shoot 2 for 2 and then shoot 0 for 4 again. Like, you have to be semi-consistent, right?
Of course.
But, I don't expect much from him at this point in his career. But sure, give him a chance because we have nobody else to give a chance. So give him a chance. I don't care. Cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about Nerlens Noel? We'll do a little flip-flop here.
Do a little bit, Noel. Just a backup. I feel like we say this all the time. He's just a backup center. Yeah. Just getting the minutes while Mitch takes his breaks. He did get the rebounds when he needed to, which is your job at this point. Pretty much his only job, it feels like. Just play good defense. Get rebounds on the misses, which they missed a lot. So, yeah. Do you have anything to fill on Nerlens?
I will say, he's actually been one of the most underrated players on the team this year. We will underappreciate him because Mitch will have games. Yeah,
of course. We always underappreciate him.
He will have games where Mitch is in foul trouble, and he'll come in, and he'll be the guy. And obviously, he doesn't provide the athleticism Mitch provides at this point in his career. He doesn't necessarily provide, the talent that Mitch provides. But he's out there. He's a kind of a shell of what Mitch is, but he's smart. He stays on the ground when he needs to. He doesn't fall for pump fakes like Mitch does. And hopefully, in my hopes are that he can teach Mitch. I think that's why we sign guys like this. We sign, Rivers. We sign Peyton back. We sign Reggie back. We get Noel. And it's, I think, mainly because we want to mentor the young guys, and I think these are great guys to do it. And that's what he's here for, and he's doing a damn good job of playing basketball, so I'll take it. Right? I mean, I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
But you want to talk a little bit about, Rivers now? I kind of stole the floor on Noel.
We can talk about Rivers. Rivers had a great game. He had a clutch game. I think we can definitely say that. He had a lot of clutch threes from the elbow that were very nice. He's got a big arc, it feels like. Yeah. High arc. And they fall. So he's making a big impact on just his second game with this team. So I think we're very pleased with what he's done so far. Especially helped us guide us to this win. For sure. I think he was a very big key contributor to this win. So, and he had that, what was that little post for New Year's Eve? That
was sweet.
He wants to win.
He does. And you saw it tonight.
He might have picked to sign with one of the worst teams in the league, but he wants to win.
Yeah.
And he's helping us win.
I appreciate that big time. He came in on a pretty cheap deal, not even guaranteed. Yeah. And he's killing it so far. I'm loving it. I said he had a good debut. 17 minutes, by the way, 15 points. So he's still getting his minutes managed quite a bit. But like I said, I think it's very interchangeable with him, Peyton, and Quickley. Because Quickley who we'll talk about in a second, also had a really good basketball game. So, I think I mentioned in the game, Zach, that Rivers is our new Marcus Morris, right? We traded Marcus Morris at the deadline, and I stand by that because out of it, we got Quickley pretty much.
Exactly.
But if we can get another guy like that for Austin, and I love Austin so far, just like I loved, Marcus, but it is the Knicks at the end of the day. We want to flip assets. It's Leon Rose. He's good at that. If we can get a good trade package for him mid-season, potentially another first-round pick from a team like the Lakers or Clippers or maybe a different contender like Philadelphia. And I know he could have signed there in free agency, and I know his dad is the coach, and I know that was a whole storyline of the offseason that he didn't go there because his dad's the coach. But teams like that need shooters, right? Mm-hmm. Even the Pacers, they always could use an addition. So how about we take their first-round pick off their hands for a guy like Austin who's on a really good deal? I'm just saying, it's never too early to talk trades, okay? Because we got, obviously, moves to make on our team. I think if we're going to trade him anytime, it would be the trade deadline, if you agree with me there, Zach. I mean...
I think, if the only time we would trade him. But if we play well, I don't think we're trading him. Yeah. But if we just fall apart completely...
Well, here's the deal. If we're a playoff-esque team, he stays. But that is a rare case scenario, especially with such a young team like this. We're not going to see games like that every night. But if we're a 500 team and we realize, okay, maybe if we make the playoffs, it'll just set us back another year. So let's just start tanking again and let's try and get somewhat of a lottery pick or something. Maybe that's what we do. I don't know. But at the end of the day, he's really good trade bait. Maybe even to trade for someone who's actually good, right? And I'm not saying that we have that opportunity yet because a lot of the stars are happy where they're at. And we don't have to trade for a star. I'm just talking about a mediocre player. Austin can get us that next level of good player. And I know this is just a post-game show, and we're just talking about how they played this game. But I know Austin, he's a good player. I think that he's a very good trade piece, and I think that's the reason we signed him on the deal that we did. A non-guaranteed deal, cheap, something that a contender can take in. I just think that's the plan. And I think that kind of leads us into Emmanuel Quickley here. But, topping off Austin, 6 for 9, 3 for 6 on three-pointers, and he came in when it mattered. Beautiful game from Austin. Couldn't have asked for any more from Austin. Yeah. But I'm going to let you talk about Quickley because he's your Kentucky guy.
He's back. Quickley is back. He probably should have gone 4 for 4. I'm not going to lie. That 3 was in and out.
It was.
So he almost had a perfect game coming back from this injury. Yeah. He only had 15 minutes, which hopefully he gets more than that. He deserves more than that. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
But once he gets his 20 a game, which I think around there makes sense, I think he's going to continue to do this. I think he's got extremely high IQ, great player for this team, hits his threes, obviously, like we were saying, with the in and out. So I think this is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe Burks and Quickley might be the best shooters on this team right now. So when Burks is out, I think Quickley is obviously the best.
I have to interrupt. I keep forgetting Burks is on this team. And kind of going back to the trade piece, and I do want to talk potential trades later in the podcast. I'll pull up the trade machine and we'll talk about it. But Alec Burks and Austin Rivers would be phenomenal trade pieces for this team if we end up going, a negative record. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I think Burks is the first to go.
Oh yeah, I think
he's our number one trade asset.
I think they go relatively the same time, or at least at similar times. But I'm going off topic again. I'm sorry, Emmanuel Quickley. I gotta say he's not at the same level yet, and I don't think he ever will be. No offense, but we're talking about James Harden here. His foul drawing ability is elite. Okay. He drew maybe 4 or 5 fouls, and I know he didn't get that many free throw attempts, but they were all on the floor. He had 1 foul that he drew at 1.3 seconds left on the shot clock, got us a whole new shot clock, and gave us an extra possession. It's fouls like that and plays like that that alter the game, right? Because if we don't have Quickley in at that moment, I don't see Elfrid Payton doing that. No offense. Mm-hmm. I don't really see RJ doing that, Reggie doing that, Julius. I think most likely it's just going to be another turnover or a brick. So Quickley having that ability is perfect for this team. And although
he's to do with the IQ.
Yeah. And if you gave him those free throws, which I think it's questionable, I think it is definitely an argument that he should have had at least 6 free throw attempts tonight. Not 6 trips to the line, 6 free throws in all. So 2 extra attempts at the line. But this kid is legit, okay? Zach was high on him, and I'm not sure if he was high on him just because he's from Kentucky or not.
No, I was not.
Okay, you were legitimately high on him? Okay.
Legitimately high on him.
And I didn't know much about him, I'll be honest. He was definitely projected to go a lot later than what he did, and so far he's proving those doubters wrong. The Knicks made a good decision. Well done, Leon Rose.
I give Kenny Payne a lot of credit on this one.
100% Kentucky, but he also brought in guys like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who we cut before,
he didn't play in minutes, so that doesn't matter.
And Nerlens, who are also, legit pieces to this team. But, I feel like if we wanted to fully commit to a team like this, and this is going to sound so picky, but I think a guy like Taj Gibson would have been really good for this team again. If we re-signed him on a cheap deal, he's a good veteran presence to have in the locker room. I think he's just another extra piece that would have been nice. That's the only free agency decision I criticize because we got guys on good contracts. I'm happy we didn't lock up a guy like now looking back at it, he's playing great. But Fred VanVleet, happy we didn't lock him up for the long term, especially because we got upcoming guys like QUICKLEY and Rivers, who's on a really cheap deal. So great offseason, and it's proving 3-3. At this point last season, if Fitzdale was our coach and we had this team, we're 0-6. Yeah. I mean, because Fitzdale,
I think it's all of Tibbs deserves a ton of credit for this team.
Big time, yes.
He's got these guys on a full drive to play hard. Joe Judge, Giants coach, I think they're both very similar. I think they go, you work hard and you play hard, and then the winning comes. And I feel like this is what this team's doing. And they both have that same mentality to new coaches, and they're doing it right with these young teams. Both teams are young. So I think that's a good comparison.
No, that's a great comparison. Although, obviously, I don't really know much about Joe Judge. I'll say it's a great comparison because of the way you described both of them. I think that's spot on with Tom Thibodeau. And I'll say, the Giants have made quite the playoff push, although maybe they may not make it. But the point is that the winning is there. And even though it's not the best roster in the NFL, it's still a legitimate coming up roster. You got Saquon coming back. You got Daniel Jones, who will be going into his third year next year. Right, and he had some injury problems this season. And usually the third year, and I'm not sure exactly how it works for football, but I know in NBA, the third year is like, okay, step it up. This is your year. Third and fourth year are like the who are you going to be type of years. Are you going to be a mediocre guy your entire career? Or are you going to be a guy who steps up to that next superstar level? And I think we saw that in guys like De'Aaron Fox and Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum. And, there's guys, obviously, like Josh Jackson, who kind of fell off after their second season. And we figured out, okay, this guy's he's a bum. He's not going to turn out into anything. And hopefully we see guys like, Mitch keep progressing. Good game tonight. Hopefully, Knox doesn't prove to me that he's the next Josh Jackson type of guy. I hope he plays like
that. Would be really bad.
But it's what is happening.
They're both different players.
They're different players, but they do have similar upside and downside, right? Josh Jackson is more known for his offense than his defense, and he's definitely gotten into some trouble, which thankfully Knox has stayed out of. But we need to keep guys like that on the team. We need to keep them progressing, and I think under Tom Thibodeau is kind of the best coach for him, and if he doesn't work out there, then is he going to work out anywhere? I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. I do want to kind of look into some trade scenarios. And I know it's very early in the season, but at this point, we're only 30 minutes into the podcast, which is a sizable amount of time for just talking about 9 guys. But I do want to mention that trades are inevitable. It's a business, and leaving emotions out of it, they will happen. And I have a feeling the Knicks will try and make some moves again at the deadline. There'll be teams that are underperforming, like the Wizards, who maybe decide they need more shooters and maybe decide they need to give up a pick or two. It's just true. That's what happens. But right now, I'm going to look into the NBA standings, okay? I'm going to make some decisions based off of record, okay? And I'm going to get your approval on them, Zach, because I don't want to look like a crazy man here that doesn't know what I'm talking about. So, okay. So, looking into NBA standings, obviously, Sixers, as I expected, are doing phenomenal. They're doing well. Hawks, Pacers, Magic, Cavs, and a lot of this won't stay this way. The Knicks won't be the 7th seed over Boston and Milwaukee, but for now we are. So take a screenshot of that.
6 games in.
I could see teams like the Raptors making moves, right? I could see teams like the Bulls making moves potentially. Wizards, even the Heat, although they'll come back. You know, the Heat always make some sort of offseason move, in my opinion, just to progress their roster. Like they made that Jay Crowder move at the midseason that helped them big time. You know, they traded away Justice Winslow, right? Or was that 2 seasons ago? Doesn't matter. They still made the move.
Actually, that was Iguodala, I think.
Iguodala, thank you. I forgot totally. Yeah.
Yeah, that Winslow.
But they gave away Winslow for Iguodala and Jay Crowder. Right.
Yep.
That's where the confusion was. Anyway, long story short, I think teams, in my opinion, we got Heat. Okay, maybe Bucks. I don't think so. I think it's way too early to decide whether or not they're going to be in that type of decision-making pool. Raptors and Wizards are the top 3 for me. Heat, Raptors, Wizards. Okay, I think that there's definitely potential for them to make moves. Now, I think that the decision is, do they want to give up a first-round pick for a guy, right? And I know in these types of things, you can't necessarily give up first-round picks, okay? But let's just say, for the sake of things, they're also going to have to give up a player, right? Just to make the salaries match. Now, we got guys like Alec Burks, and I know it says that we can't trade him until February 5th, but we will, right? But who, in your opinion, Zach, is a tradable guy on this Wizards team for Alec Burks plus a first-round pick?
A player?
Yeah.
Why would we trade a player, though?
To make the salaries match and make the amount of teams. It would just be a necessary thing. So just for legitimacy's sake.
Let's go Isaac Bonga.
Isaac Bonga, one of the worst players in the NBA. Okay.
I think that's a fair. If we're going to throw in a pick 2, I think that's fair.
Well, they're going to throw
in a pick. We're trading up a guy that we're using for 1 year.
Yeah. So well, they're going to definitely need it. You got Russell Westbrook on your team, so you're definitely going to need some extra shooting down the line. That's just a fact, okay? Westbrook is not that guy when it comes to shooting. I know Thomas Bryant's been pretty elite at shooting this year, but they won't trade him. You know, they have guys like Jerome Robinson, though, who I could definitely see being a piece.
I think at him.
Well, I would think...
From the Clippers.
And this is just the thing I'd say, right? I would say that they would probably trade Jerome Robinson instead of Isaac Bonga just because of how good Alec Burks has been. And I think he'll keep it up. So I think it would go Jerome Robinson and a first-round pick for Alec Burks. Or it could be interchangeable, quite frankly. It could also be Austin Rivers. Because of that contract he's on, he's worth a first-round pick at this point. Right? I mean, am I crazy to say that?
I think he's got a whole year to prove, but yeah.
Austin
we still
Rivers?
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is because I'm kind of going off of last year, where he also had a really good year, but he was behind James Harden. So we're going to see a 15-point, point per game year this year from him, and that's what it's going to be. Okay.
If we see he starts, step up,
oh yeah, it'll be big time. That's my opinion anyway. But Toronto, obviously they've had a slow start to the season. They only beat us so far, which is nothing to go brag about. But I could see them trading just a regular piece. I mean, there's also a chance we get a guy like Terrence Davis, who the only reason I say we get a guy like Terrence Davis is because he has some behavioral issues. I know he was involved in some potential like jail time or something. There was some serious stuff going on with him. Kind of like a Malik Beasley type of situation. That's why the Denver Nuggets shipped him out, because he had behavioral issues. That's why we shipped out Porzingis partially, because he had some behavioral issues as well. But I could see getting Terrence Davis 1-for-1 for one of these guys, because who gives up a first-round pick and your All-NBA, rookie second-team guy? No one. So if we get a guy like that backing up RJ or something, and we got QUICKLEY and him coming off the bench, I think that's a good duo. I think we can make it work. And I know I'm stretching it this early in the year, and I'll keep saying that, but I am interested, you know? And I didn't really look into the Western Conference team, Zach, but do you have any opinions as to who may make a trade?
Who may want to make trades?
A contender.
Definitely the Lakers, a contender.
Right.
Probably Clippers, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Denver if they want to get another piece.
Yes.
I feel like everybody else is kind of a toss-up. Maybe the Pelicans if they start having, if they mesh well at the mid-season with all these guys, maybe him.
But I totally agree with all those. Yeah.
I feel like those are the main, because everybody else is I thought the Warriors would be a playoff team, but they're not that hot right now.
They're not looking it. Do you think they would potentially?
The Mavs not looking hot with Luka, so teams it's a toss-up for the refs. It feels like.
Here's a trade.
But it's very early.
And I know you said that they're not a playoff team, but that's the exact reason why
they might
this happen. Now, a guy and I don't think they give up Kelly Oubre easy, okay? Because although he's had a bad start to the year, he could definitely pick it up. He could definitely be a legit guy. But if potentially they say, okay, Kelly Oubre, you're not working out, you're on a 1-year deal, okay, which he is, which is high risk for him to just go out and leave. And it's also high risk for the Knicks to trade for him because what if you want to just sign him in free agency anyway, or what if you lose him? What if you just give up someone like, Austin Rivers, who I can't throw in the trade finder yet, which kind of sucks, but I would, and you give up a second-round pick in 2022? Because those are valuable second-round picks, and here's why. And I don't know if you heard this or if I even told you this yet, Zach, but it's been something in my mind. We have 3 or 4 second-round picks in 2022 just from teams around the league. Because in 2022, high school players are then eligible to enter the draft. So we're going to have guys coming out of college and elite high school players. So there's going to be a deep draft in 2022. I mean, we're talking about, is that the Chet Holmgren draft, or is that, I think that's the Chet Holmgren, Amani Bates draft, or Bronny James even. I'm not sure. There's a lot of legit guys in that draft class. So you give up a guy
that sounds right.
I'm not sure. You give up a guy like
I don't think about Bronny. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, that's 2023. You're right. Bronny is 23. Okay. But you give up a guy like Kevin Knox because you got to give up an asset, at least a young asset, right? He's not going to be that easy to trade for. You potentially give up another young asset, Ignis, right? Just to kind of make it work. And then I can't throw him in now, but just as kind of a holder for Austin Rivers, and we wouldn't trade Reggie Bullock, don't get me wrong, but I throw Reggie Bullock in there, pretend like that is Austin Rivers. Now, in this situation, they probably have to make the money work, right? Because actually, at this point, we really don't have to make the money work.
The money looks good.
But I'll just throw this random guy in because there's also 15-player option. There's 15. I play a little bit 2K my league, and it's like a 15-player requirement on your team. And I think we have 16 at this moment. I could be wrong, but it wouldn't matter. They would just throw in another G League guy. But I could see this trade happening if we throw in a second-round pick and they're not okay with Kelly Oubre, especially because of the risk. Because this dude could clearly leave if he's not liking it. He's on a 1-year deal. There's a good chance he leaves, especially when he's shooting 4% from 3 in the first few games. That is embarrassing. They may throw him out real quick. Kind of like what they did with D'Lo, because he wasn't playing well.
I was going to say that, yeah.
So, because the Warriors, I don't know what's going on with them, but I feel like they settle really low. Taking Andrew Wiggins in a first-round pick or two for D'Lo, I feel like was just a steal. Because Wiggins is on one of the worst deals in the NBA. The picks aren't going to be that good, especially if Minnesota steps up their game, which I think they will. Because they got, they got pieces. They got Anthony Edwards now. They got Cat. They got D'Lo. I don't know. That's going to be a dangerous team if Anthony Edwards pans out. So, if you're settling low, take what you can do, or, do what you can. Try and throw together a trade for Kelly Oubre. And even if it doesn't work out, doesn't matter. You threw it out there. And I also know, and I wouldn't want to trade for him, and this is just totally hypothetical, but Draymond Green has become available in trade talks, is what I've heard. Or he might be used as trade bait. I don't think the Knicks would pull the trigger for him, but I think it'd be interesting if they trade Draymond Green. Does that mean they're also willing to just trade Kelly Oubre? I don't know. It makes.
I feel like that's a team that if the guy's not working, they're just going to ship him, like you said with D'Lo. So if Kelly Oubre continues to shoot like he is, I think he's gone quickly.
Because the way he played in Phoenix, Zach, like, that is the Kelly Oubre I think we'll see later in the season, or hopefully if we trade for him on the Knicks. Because the dude's legit. Can't lie. There's memes about him and stuff, and I get that. But he is legit. He's good at basketball, and he's just had a really bad start. And I hope the Warriors get impatient and they trade him. But does that happen? Not sure.
He's got a lot of time to prove before that even becomes a consideration at trade deadline. But
I
totally agree though.
I got my my little cousin James in the chat. How's it going, James? How we doing? Let's see. I'm not sure if James is a big Knicks fan, but if you have any questions or anything, just let me know. I'm here to listen to them, here to answer them. But yeah, Zach, do you have anything, any trades you think could happen? Because I think there's plenty that could happen. I think Frank is shippable, DSJ, Knox. I think they're all shippable pieces.
Yeah, I feel like it's so early, but I agree. I think all of them are shippable. I don't think there's many untouchables on this team right now, but I feel like we just have to wait. It's so early.
I know.
Like, we're 6 games into the year.
It's a stretch, but trades happen early.
Stretch.
Trades do happen early sometimes. There's smaller ones, and we could be part of the smaller one, right? Because at the same time, the start of the year kind of defines how the team's momentum will go in a way, right? Because some teams turn it around, some teams flop. And I think if you feel like you're going to flop and you're a GM, you may move quick. You may make a trade. And I think that'll happen with teams like, Houston. If they want to retain James Harden on the roster, maybe they'll make a trade. But that wouldn't be with us because they would have to trade for someone real, right? So, there'll be trades. I bet on it. But,
yeah.
I know it's early. I know it's a stretch. I'm just trying to elaborate and be honest about what I'm thinking, right? Because I think there's definitely a good chance that we do make trades. We are the Knicks. We're always making moves. We've had 4 head coaches in like 4 to 3 years, something like that. Some crazy stuff. And I think there's a very good chance that we ship someone off soon. And I hope it isn't, okay? But I heard Thibodeau wasn't super high on Frank Ntilikina, okay? And I don't know why that is, because I feel like he's the perfect player for Tibbs. But if it means that the coach isn't high on him and he's not getting minutes, we may not see him on the team for much longer, especially if he's injured, right? So he's definitely a tradable piece.
Yeah, I feel like with the Rivers and Quickley stepping up now, there's not much room for him at this point. Like, he's done nothing wrong this year. I can even say that.
Yeah.
But there's just no room at this point. I feel like we're starting to actually find pieces in this roster. Just something we haven't been able to say in a while. So I feel like with that, a lot of guys don't have much room now.
Yeah.
So
it hurts.
The problem is. Yeah.
It hurts because Frank, honestly, one of my favorite players. He's actually, longevity-wise, he's been with the Knicks longest on this team, which is nuts.
Which is crazy.
It's kind of ridiculous. Crazy. We should have some... But in this modern NBA, I don't expect any less, if you know what I mean. Like, because a lot of guys, they move teams. It's a business. It's for money. You're not going to see a Kobe Bryant again. I don't even know if Jason Tatum will stay with Boston his whole career. And I'm just saying that not because I don't think Jason Tatum's loyal, not because I don't think he'll do it. I just think it's a different world. And even though he might want to stay with the team, one injury happens, he may be gone. It's that simple. Like a Paul George situation. And I'm not... God, I don't want that to happen to Tatum. But I'm just saying, if Kobe Bryant in modern day NBA tore his Achilles, okay, and he was on that Lakers team, and they wanted to still win a championship and compete, they're not going to give him that 4-year, $100 million deal that they gave him.
Yeah, of course not.
They're just not going to do it. It's modern day NBA. So, we weren't going to... The only chance we had to keep a guy was Porzingis, and we blew that. So... That's the summary of the story right there, is that there's not a lot of loyalty in the NBA, and that goes both ways. That go player ways and GM ways. So having Frank on the roster we're lucky to have him for 4 years now, right? 4?
Is it 4? Yeah, it's 4. I think this is going into his... Yeah, this is his 4th year.
That kind of hurts a little bit. We've seen progression in his shooting this year, and he hasn't, like you said, done anything wrong. But
no.
Quickley is younger. He looks better at this point.
Making a bigger impact, let's be real.
He's not, although he did have that injury, he's not known for being a super injury-prone player. Frank is. So
You can't blame Quickly for that, though, at the end of the day.
The hip.
Like, the dude literally got a freak
But in college,
accident where he got hit in the hip. He never was there in college.
Exactly. No. That's what I'm referring to mostly. But
yeah.
I'm going to say it, though. Frank has been injured most of his career.
Yeah. And he's hurt right now.
He is. And it's like Achilles injury on top of knee soreness, on top of some sort of arm injuries. I don't know. It's some weird stuff that goes on with Frank. And I wish he panned out because he really is one of my favorite players. But just because I got to push emotions aside and say we need to win basketball games and say, Frank, you don't fit the team anymore. It doesn't work. Tibbs isn't playing you in a 9-10 man rotation. You're not going to get minutes on any other team. We are the Knicks. The best chance you get is the Cavs. Like, I wish him the best, but I could see him getting traded at some point. Oh my goodness. I did not know Oladipo shot 3 for 16 tonight. You see that, Zach? 3 for 16?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we talked about it.
He was pretty much throwing the game, it felt like, when I said it.
No, he definitely was.
Like, he'd get the ball and he'd literally just shoot it every time.
That was pretty bad.
Especially at the end of the game where they had time and he just threw it up. I don't know if you remember at the very end.
I do. That was bad.
And I was like, what are you doing? I thought the only reason why I thought that was a good shot was there any time on the shot clock? And no, there wasn't. It was just a terrible shot.
Yeah. In my opinion, it was more embarrassing for him. Because and we were messing around, we were joking in the game that maybe he just wants to get traded. Maybe he doesn't want to be there anymore. And I think that's a potential situation, but, players have bad games, and that's kind of a silly response to a game like that. But there was rumors in the offseason he don't want to be there anymore. I'm just saying. Maybe he doesn't want to be around, and that's his way of getting out. Having bad games against the Knicks, because his shot selection was awful.
Awful.
It was terrible. It was a train wreck tonight.
He's got a good team.
Brogdon, though. Brogdon had a phenomenal game, and I'm not just looking at percentages. The dude was just everywhere. I mean, he was making the right passes. He was making the right plays on the ball. He did have some mistakes later in the game, and when I mean mistakes, I mean giving the ball to Oladipo. Because if the dude's on fire, keep shooting the ball. I mean,
exactly.
That if I'm a Pacers fan, I'm really pissed because I don't see a reason to play Oladipo over Brogdon, or play them at the same time, but give Oladipo the ball, who's having a bad shooting night.
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's like, and I know it was kind of different, and the scenarios were different, but it's like when Kevin Knox had that really phenomenal shooting night not long ago. And we kept giving R.J. Barrett the ball. But R.J. Barrett kept missing. And although R.J. is the better player at the end of the day, right? He's a more rounded player. He's more consistent sometimes. You give Knox the ball because he's the hot hand, just like you give Brogdon the ball because he's the hot hand.
Yeah, of course.
It just doesn't make sense to not give him the ball.
That's just common sense. Yeah.
And it's not even like we played that tight. We had played some A-plus defense, okay? But it wasn't that good, okay? It wasn't good enough that Brogdon couldn't get the ball in his hands. They just didn't give it to him. And Turner also felt like he was throwing the game a little bit with three-pointers. He hit 3 in the third quarter and then nothing. He missed all the first half. He missed all the fourth quarter shots. I'm not even sure if he played that much. We locked down Sabonis tonight. Big credit to Julius Randle and Mitch for that. But Sabonis only scoring 13 is a huge win. Dude's averaging 24 a game. Hold him to half of that? That's beautiful. Especially with 5 personal fouls and 4 turnovers. He was getting angry, in the fourth quarter. Do you see that when he was yelling at the ref?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was saying, tech him up. Tech him up.
the NBA just doesn't give them.
Yeah, no.
If we're playing baseball, you're out.
Yeah.
You say one bad thing, you're out. So... But NBA is different like that. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Also, I'm just going to go out and say this, and I know he hasn't had a great start to his career, but he hasn't had a lot of chances. I'd love to trade for a guy like Jalen LeCue if I didn't have a point guard on my team. And I know, I get it. I watched some like mixed tapes a few years ago of him, and I know they only show the good parts of him. But this dude is one of the most athletic players I have ever seen in my entire life. Now, if you're interested, anyone who is watching the stream or is watching the stream in the past tense, like you're watching it after it's over, please don't leave my stream instantly and look it up, but after the stream is over, go look up some Jalen LeCue highlights, okay? That dude is honestly one of the most athletic players ever, in my opinion, okay? At least recorded ever. I'm sure he's got a really good vertical leap. I'll look at his draft combine stuff. Q draft combine. He was... Oh, yeah, he had the highest vertical at the combine. The dude's 43-inch vertical.
Sheesh.
He's 6'3". I mean, that's different.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And he had like a solid G League performance not long ago and stuff like that. I mean, the dude is a legit guy. He just doesn't get a chance, and I kind of hate that. You know, and I feel like that's kind of how I feel about, you know, some players on the Knicks, whether or not they stay injured or you know, what it is, you know. Like DSJ, he's injured sometimes, but I kind of wish he had more of a chance. Especially, it just hurts that we have so many better players than him, because he's an average dude if he plays the minutes, but he doesn't even get the minutes, so he's not an average dude. Yeah, so I feel like that kind of about does it for the stream. I don't know how you feel, Zach, but I feel like it was a productive stream. We put together some potential deals. And I'm very famous for putting together the Buddy Hield package, right? But with how the Kings have been playing so far, and I'm not sure how it shows record-wise, they're 3-3 just like us, but they lost to the Rockets tonight, who are a legit team. Even when they don't have James Harden, take out John Wall when healthy, who's really phenomenal. Wow, 28 points tonight? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's legit.
Yeah, 28
he's
points.
Back.
Christian Wood, who's also legit, you know. But I think that core of De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley, and Buddy Hield, that's not a tradable duo or trio at this point.
Yeah.
They're just going to keep them. No hate. Makes sense. But any deal the Knicks put together, they're the ones that have to throw in the first-round pick. So that's something I don't want to do for Buddy Hield. But that's the only trade I didn't throw together tonight because I didn't want to sound like I was crazy. I know that they're good. I know that they're going to keep them. So.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, do you have anything to add, Zach?
No. You want to do our usual, what's our next game?
Yeah, right. Predictions. We didn't actually predict the Pacer game, did we?
No, we didn't. You're right.
Which is kind of a shame. I probably would have honestly predicted our that we lost tonight.
I would
just because of the first performance and the loss we were coming off of, but impressive tonight. I mean, RJ Barrett showed out. Julius Randle may have not put up the most flashy numbers in the world, but he definitely showed out too. Mitch, it was just a good all-around game. And it was actually one of those games, Zach, where it was one of those games where we actually played good defense. Because, you know, we talk a lot about teams just missing their shots when they're open.
Exactly.
We actually contested them.
Yeah, I agree.
And we won the game because of it. We beat a legitimate playoff team, and that won't happen much. So, you know, soak in the win, enjoy it while we can, and let's get on to the next one on Monday versus whoever we're playing. Who are we playing on Monday?
We're playing the Hawks at home.
Nice, but we're playing them at home, so we'll be back.
Oh, I'm wrong. We're on the road.
Damn.
Last road game. That's
disappointing now.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's okay.
We're on our last road game of this long 4-game road stretch. Yeah.
I want to see us back in the Garden. It's a big win
Be back
tonight.
Wednesday.
Be back Wednesday.
Be back Wednesday in the Garden. This Hawks game is on Monday, though.
Yeah, but if y'all want to check it out, if anyone's looking at the live stream, I make sure I post, I post content on the Instagram page. I post, injury updates. I post halftime updates, final updates, whatever y'all want to come in here and see. I made sure to get this matchup hyped up tonight, and it did not live up to what I wanted it to be, but it happens, Anyway, I hope y'all have a blessed night, and I really enjoy live streaming, and this is a good game to watch and a good game to talk about. So have a good one. We'll see y'all later, and goodbye. All right, bye now, y'all.
Here I am. No, it's been a while. I was to find the person I'd become. I was high and I was low, moved through mountains, rain and snow, but I felt that I was